Hello. So today we're going to be looking at reconciliation and whether or not you and your person are going to reconcile. And if you do reconcile, what's going to happen? What is the outcome? Okay, close your eyes. And when you open them, just see which one of these piles attracts you the most. If you like to pick with crystals, we have some amber, larimar, and fire and ice quartz. Okay, pile 1. You picked the amber. First, we're going to take a look at this person's energy. What is their energy? No. Definitely not. I'm not. That is a fat stack. I can't. Please, Spirit, please give me like a reasonable stack if you're gonna give me a stack. Oh, okay. Okay. Jesus. Okay. All right. So that's their energy. Interesting. Your energy. So already from these cards, because you got two swords, right? Swords is to do with thoughts. So this person, they're thinking a lot. They're like wrapped up in their thoughts. They're in their head. Oh, okay. So this is you. Okay. Your energy is the death card. Okay, so this next card I'm going to pull is answering the question of will there be a reconciliation? Okay. Okay. And what is the outcome? Okay. Okay. What an interesting spread. Their energy right now is that maybe they're starting to get clarity with all of these thoughts. They're starting to realize that, maybe some of the thoughts that they were holding on to, that's the reason why you had issues together. It's like they're starting to realize that it was their way of thinking that was getting in the way of your connection. And then here we have the Death card. Which, like, I think you were just fed up. Like, honestly, you were just fed up with not being able to get through to this person because they're just very stubborn in their ways of, in their, like, they just wouldn't let certain things go, I'm feeling. Maybe there was a misunderstanding. You said something in a certain way, and they just interpreted it in their own way, and then you try to explain to them what you meant by what you said, but they just wouldn't take your word for it. They're insisting that you meant something that you didn't mean. So anyways, you got fed up with this mentality, and I think you were like, yeah, I have no more feelings. I'm done, Yeah, maybe you were closing out, like, also with the situation, it feels like you're closing out a karmic cycle. It's like you've learned whatever lesson it is that you needed to learn by being in a relationship with this person. Likely, it's been like a recurring pattern in your life. And then Will you reconcile? Apparently so. I think you're gonna have a conversation. I don't really necessarily think that you're gonna get back together, but you are gonna have a reconciliation, like as in, you're gonna, maybe you might even try again, I don't know, but your intuition is gonna be so on point that you're gonna see through any illusions that you didn't see through before. This is like you're stepping into a new, how would you call it? Like, you're leveling up. So your intuition is gonna be very sharp when you meet this person, and you're gonna see through their bullshit. 'Cause maybe they are starting to see a bit of clarity through the chaos of their own thoughts, but I don't know. Anyways, okay, so the outcome, because you know what, I don't really understand. I think I'm gonna have to clarify this, because this is not, I need some more information. Because then you have the Four of Swords here in the outcome. Can we just clarify every single position, please? Because I feel like this is a little bit vague. Good Lord. Okay. Yeah, it seems like the reconciliation it's up to you. You're going to be the one to decide whether or not this reconciliation happens. And here, so this is clarifying their energy. It's like they're kind of hopeful. I think they're hopeful that they can start something with you. Now that they've got this mental clarity, maybe they think that there's some hope. This looks like a very hopeful card. And then here, for you, clarifying your energy, this is basically just confirming that, you have closed out karmic cycle, because this is like a new way of thinking. You've changed your perspective, and you are thinking about things and seeing things from this new point of view. Because it's upside down, I feel like you're not torn between any thoughts. You've already made your mind up. Actually, you know what? I think that you're not gonna reconcile. I think you're using your intuition. You know that this is like a useless relationship to keep investing in, and yeah. Because it's your choice. You can reconcile with this person, but I think you already know that it's not a good idea. Like, if you do, it's just gonna end up with this sort of chaotic energy where you're trying to make too many things happen at once, and your manifestation energy is like getting leaked. Or as well, it could be, you're trying to make it work in one way, they're trying to make it work in another way, and yeah, it's like, it's a mismatch, basically. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, okay, this is your card. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. So yeah, whatever that means for you, because you're gonna know what it means. But yeah, I feel like you're the one that's holding the cards. I feel like you're the one that's gonna make the decision on whether or not you reconcile with this person. But I think there's no doubt in your mind, your intuition is telling you that if you do end up reconciling, it's gonna be chaotic. Because you already have like a solid perspective on the situation. You've realized things, you've closed karmic cycles. Any illusions that this person was trying to create, it's all been uncovered now. Maybe they were a friend that turned into a lover, or maybe this is just a friend. Maybe you're like thinking about, maybe this is a friend. This doesn't even have to be romantic, to be honest. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. Yeah. So, maybe this person, they just came into your life so that you could close out this karmic cycle. They were the ones that helped you learn whatever lessons that you needed to learn in order to level up. So yeah, that is all. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that this reading gave you clarity and reassurance. Sometimes we know deep down, like in the back of our minds, we do know that something is over and it's done, but it's just we romanticize the relationship that we had. We remember the good times and we just think, oh, it's a shame, for this to end. But deep down inside, you already know that it's over. You know that it's not something that can be fixed. Like, sometimes you have those friends that you've been friends with for a very, very long time, and you don't really want to accept that the friendship is over, or that the friendship or the relationship is expired. But you know what happens when you eat expired food? You get food poisoning. So, on that note, yeah, thanks for being here, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. That was bloody grim. Okay, hello, pile 2, you chose the Larimar. So, let's see. What is the energy of your person? So after doing pile 1's reading, I realized that, this can be any sort of relationship, any sort of reconciliation. It can be with a lover, a friend, family member. Oh, that was quick. That's a yes. Whoa. Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, that's nice. So in a nutshell, yeah, you're gonna reconcile and it's gonna be really good. Let me just look a little bit more into your energy and their energy again. Okay. That was the same clarifier that came out for pile 1. It's very interesting. Okay. Oh. Okay, so they feel like they have lost something. They're in this energy of like, when you were so hopeful that you're gonna win something, or you feel like you're gonna be victorious or like triumphant. I don't know why I keep getting triumphant, I guess because of like the laurel leaves and everything. But it came out upside down, so it's like they're in this energy of feeling like kind of like a failure a little bit. But at the same time, they want to start again. They want to offer a new start. They want to offer like trying again, it looks like. And then you and your energy, you've been trying to build. You're quite tired. You've been working really hard. Like, this is, the card is showing that you've been through some battles trying to make this work with this person. And you're exhausted. Yeah, it's like you were the one that was putting in all the effort to try and like make the relationship work. Yeah, and you're just tired. You're just tired. And then here we have the Queen of Wands. So this position here is talking about whether or not you are going to reconcile it. This is a yes. You're manifesting this because you really want this to happen. So there is going to be reconciliation for sure, but it's going to like cause you to be depressed. Like you're just going to be stuck in your head. You're going to be thinking nonstop. You know, you might not be able to sleep. Maybe you're going to be having like intense dreams. But the outcome is like, you got the Ten of Pentacles here. This is why I'm a little bit confused, because like in the end, it's going to be a good thing. Like you're going to work it out. Yeah, it's like, you know, here you got the Six of Cups as well, clarifying that. And the five of swords, sorry. Yeah, it's like you have this connection with your inner children. There's a lot of love. In the end, it's going to be good, but I think here also the outcome is just showing that you're gonna have to, either you or your person is gonna have to figure out how to let go of certain thoughts. Maybe it's you. Yeah, maybe it's you. I don't know what happened, but maybe something happened that caused you to be paranoid in some way, or like anxious, or maybe it's like insecurities. But anyways, if you're able to just like work through it together and talk about it and focus on your loving connection, your friendship, then yeah, this is the outcome. Happy outcome. So, oh, this is your card, Abundance. I am a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. Yeah, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're manifesting this reconciliation. So yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. Let me know how the reconciliation goes. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know an update. And yeah, that's your reading. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye. Pile 3, this is your reading. So you picked the Fire and Ice Quartz point. You got 2 cards, so we're gonna look at them later. Okay, so we want to know, what is the energy of your person? What is their current energy? Oh, the Judgment. Judgment. Maybe they're I feel like it's like a card of self-realization. Maybe they're starting to realize things about themselves. That's what I feel like this card is saying to me. It's like they finally got some sort of karma, you know, where they're like realizing, they're just realizing stuff about themselves. Okay, so you and your energy, what energy are you in? So your energy, it came out sideways too. The Empress. But it came out sideways. So what that means to me is that you're almost there. Not quite though. It's like you haven't fully really stepped into your power. You haven't fully stepped into your divine feminine wisdom. Oh! This card really wants to come out in every reading, I swear. Okay, so, yeah, you're gonna reconcile. It seems like you guys, you and this person, you're gonna start again. Start fresh. What is the outcome? Okay. Emotional fulfillment. Not emotional completion, but emotional fulfillment. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty straightforward, actually. Maybe we'll just... Because I did clarifiers for the other two piles, so I feel like I should do clarifier for you as well. But, you know, sometimes clarifiers, sometimes they confuse me. Ah, okay, well, let's just see. Yeah, well, actually, no, this makes sense. So, yeah, they had, like, a lot of options, or they thought they had a lot of options, or they were kind of entertaining a lot of options. Doesn't have to be like options in terms of people or romantic interest sort of options, but it could be, you know, like relationships, career, travel. You know, they had like a lot of different things that they wanted to, like a lot of different directions that they could potentially go in. I think they were, yeah, just like a lot of stuff going on. But actually, you know what, to be honest, I do feel like this is saying that they were entertaining options in terms of people. But they have a new perspective. They are starting to think about life and see life in a new way. You know, they've started to look at things differently. And I think that all comes down to this Judgment card. They have realized something. Something has clicked, something has changed, and they're starting to see things in a different way. So, okay. Let's do a clarifier for your energy, because you had it come out sideways, so I feel like you're almost there, but something... something blocking your energy. Okay. Should I take that? Okay. I'm gonna take it because it's you. Okay. Just for you. So, yeah, I think you like rushed in pretty quick with this person. You rushed in pretty quick, and you were dealing with a bit of like betrayal trauma from the past, maybe. Yeah, there's like an energy here of you kind of like doubting yourself. Um, that's why you were in the almost Empress energy, because there's like a little element here of self-doubt. Um, but then right at the end, we've got the Eight of Cups. So it's like you are walking away from a certain way of, you know, walking away from feelings. You're walking away from maybe the past. Maybe these are like feelings from your past to do with the betrayal trauma that you've experienced, that was like triggering you in this situation and making you doubt yourself. Maybe you feeling insecure somehow. But you're walking away from that. That's why you are stepping into this energy, the Empress energy, which is great. Okay. Whew, God, that stack. Okay, so let's get a clarifier for this Ace of Pentacles. So you are going to reconcile. Yeah, you're going to reconcile. Because what? 9 of Pentacles. The outcome. Yeah, you're going to reconcile because it's what you want. You know, you're going to start something new and start again, and the outcome. Let's get a clarifier for the outcome. This one more. Okay. Okay. So you've got, that's interesting. You've got like 3 9s here, look. And then the Strength card. And 2 8s here. So yeah, your energy, you've got like a lot of movement with what you're trying to, yeah, 8 and 8, sandwiching the stack. Which does confirm to me that you're like leveling up, you know, you're moving. There's like a lot of movement because you're becoming, you're moving into Empress energy. And you are going to reconcile with this person. You are. So the outcome of you reconciling, it's good. It's like you're going to reach this point of fulfillment. You're going to be a bit tired, but, you know, you're going to have what you want. And it's going to make you stronger. You know, it's going to give you, it's going to help you unlock your strength, basically. So yeah, that's really nice, actually. That's nice. Okay, and your cards, your oracle cards. Jeez. Okay, so already here, a lot of sacral chakra energy. With the orange. So, grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it, and forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Yeah, I feel like this is them and this is you. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. So I think this is their energy. They're realizing that, you know, after losing you, they realize that how much they actually really do care about you, and how much you mean to them, and how much you impact their life. And for you, I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Yeah, it's like that past trauma, betrayal, trauma energy that I was seeing here. And they triggered you, for sure, you know, with their mindset and mental, you know, where they were in their headspace before. But I think this is, you know, this is a chance for you to step into your Empress energy and just, yeah, just know that holding on to the pain that people from your past caused you can sometimes also sabotage the relationships that you have now. And forgiveness doesn't really mean that, you know, you're saying that what they did is okay, or that you accept the way they treated you, or that, you know, that behavior was somehow less impactful than it was. Forgiveness just means that you are able to understand that people do shitty things. And it's more about them than it is about you. Because people, you can't give what you don't have. I really love Wayne Dyer, and he always used to tell this story about, if you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Orange juice. So basically, it's like when you squeeze a person, like if, you have an interaction and the person feels squeezed, whatever comes out of them is what's inside them. It's not really got anything to do with you. It's like, yeah. If someone's really nasty to you, if someone's really horrible to you, it's usually, it's something that is inside them. So when you're able to see things from that perspective, it's easier to forgive people and move forward and not let it affect your past. Your present, sorry. Not let your past affect your present. Anyway, that is all for today. Thank you so much for checking in and for listening to your reading. I would love to know if this resonated, and yeah, update me. Did you reconcile? How was the reconciliation? And yeah, hope that all goes well. I hope you have a wonderful relationship together, because it looks like a really nice one. And yeah, I will see you in my next reading. Bye.